What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. Merry Christmas. And I thought, as tradition the last 2 years, I've done and saved the most requested rebuild to Christmas Day. 2 years ago was the Browns. I actually think last year it was the Browns. And this year, rather than doing the Browns yet again, who really we kind of came into the year not thinking they needed a rebuild, probably still do, it is time for the Madden 20 rebuild of the Miami Dolphins. As you can see here, we are in the tail end of the preseason. This roster's so bad. This is terrible. 72 overall with a 6-9 offense, 77 defense. Looking at the roster, I will actually go with Josh Rosen as our starter. Here's why. We know we're drafting a quarterback, so at least if we give Rosen the start this year, if he can be next year, say, he'll be 23. If he can be 73, 74 with a start, I might actually have some trade value, and we can flip that for more picks, because we need as many picks, as many assets as humanly possible to make this team a good roster. So we'll see what happens there, because I personally feel like they should build the team around Rosen, but I'm not a Dolphin fan, and I know I get the whole, if I don't mock a quarterback to the Dolphins, if I don't have them getting a Tua or a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert, people get mad, because if you're a Dolphin fan, you're sitting through this season going, I didn't sit through this season for us to just stick with someone that's already on the roster. I get that. I wouldn't close the book on Josh Rosen just yet. But either way, for this rebuild, unless Josh Rosen goes off, we're most likely going to be landing a quarterback in the draft. At running back, there's not much here at all. There's no dev traits either. It's one of those things, we saw all these low ratings. It'd be like, this is literally as if you made a cupcake roster in NCAA and you put it in Madden. But there's no good dev traits in that backfield. Wide receiver, we got Devontae Parker's actually had a little bit of a breakout year, 81 star dev. But he's 26. So for a 5-year rebuild, 26, that's where you're at that cusp age of I don't know. We got Albert Wilson. That's expensive. Probably want to try to get him out the books. Jakeem Grant's solid, but he's also 26. We brought in Trent Taylor for agency. Preston Williams is that dude. Right now, if I'm looking at this wide receiver room, Devontae Parker and Preston Williams are going to be my wide receiver one, and I'm probably going to put Preston Williams in the slot to see if we can develop him up just a little bit. It's a nice, I like a lot of these guys. Gary Jennings out of West Virginia, I like him. Isaiah Ford out of Virginia Tech, I like him. Callaway, obviously Gator bias, even though he's an idiot. So, I like these guys. Hopefully some of them stick. At tight end, we have Gesicki. It'd be nice to turn his career around, where he's just, obviously it's only a year in, but he's been a little bit underwhelming to say the least, but he's such a good athlete. I think we can make it work. Plus, we've used him before in the Raiders rebuilds and stuff like that, and he's a really good tight end, at least in Madden. The offensive line is horrific. Need a left tackle, need a left guard, most likely. I like Dieter. I actually talked about him a lot last year during the draft process. I'm going to see if we can at least hold on to him as one of our linemen. But outside of that, there is nothing. No other stars. We debatably need 5. I'm going to hope that we can develop Dieter, and we only need 4 linemen. That's still a lot of linemen, and they don't grow on trees, especially when it comes to free agency. We're going to have to hit on these drafts, and when I'm using my realistic draft cluster for the first 2 years, that's pretty much a piss away, because I don't have any of these cheesy 70 overall guys in the 7th round that I can just scout because of high bench press. Defensively, again, not great. We got Christian Wilkins. They must be running a 3-4. So, obviously you hope that he can develop nicely. No dev trade, of course. D-tackle, you got Godchow, formerly of LSU. He's solid from 24-76. So I'm hoping that, between Wilkins and Godchow, we can have them develop. Taco Charlton, trying to turn his career around, salvage it after it was a little bit of a bust so far for the Dallas Cowboys. Already got released. I don't know how much is there, but he's on our roster. Middle linebacker, I think this is the strength of this defense. In terms of talent, I think Raekwon McMillan and Jerome Baker, the Ohio State boys, I think both those guys can develop very, very nicely and should probably be our 2 best defenders for the majority of this rebuild that are already on this roster. Vince Beagle, sure. There's another bust here in Charles Harris. We have Xavier Howard, Aqib Talib on a 1-year deal. Nick Needham's actually been probably their best corner this year in real life. You got Jimmy Moreland. I got him up as a free agent, formerly of the Redskins, I think. So those are going to be our corners this year. Even though Talib's on this roster, we're going to go Xavier Howard, Needham, and Jimmy Moreland. Free safety, Bobby McCain, the converted corner. Rashad Jones, he's an old boy at this point, old head. Eric Rowe, former Philadelphia Eagle, who actually, this was I mocked him. I wanted Philly to draft Eric Rowe. Didn't work out. Seems actually he's a little bit better in Miami than he was, especially in New England, because Philly picked on him in that Super Bowl. But it is what it is. The special teams unit is fairly good, but we better hope that we can get the first overall pick. I don't know if I'm going Joe Burrow or Tua or Justin Herbert. I have a guy that I'm trying to lean towards, but we'll take the draft board as it is. But I have no idea what expectations we can have for this team because Madden's bipolar. We can go in and with a 95 overall team and go 6-9, and then I watch this team that's like barely a 70, pull up pink slips and go 15-1. We're gonna hit the trade block here since we've already committed to Rosen. I don't know why this deal happened, but we're able to send Fitzmagic to the Colts for Nyheim Hines, who I am a huge fan. He's one of my favorite players in Madden, and I'd love him to catch on as our RB1 for the entirety of this rebuild. Able to make another move, sending Vincent Taylor, former first-round pick Charles Harris, and Adrian Colbert to the LA Rams for star dev wide receiver Josh Reynolds. Making another trade with the Philadelphia Eagles, send Vince Beagle, and I don't even know who this dude is, for Josh Sweat, who we're going to convert from defensive end to outside linebacker, which actually could come back to bite us in the ass. I wouldn't be shocked to see him be a lower overall than Vince Beagle. Our final trade of the day. Again, it's a playoff move. The Saints already showed their hand by signing Janoris Jenkins off the street. They want corners for this Super Bowl run. So we send them a great corner that's still at this point ready for a Super Bowl team and not as a just cap cow here in Miami. So we sent Aqib Talib. I don't know why they're getting rid of Von Bell. I guess the emergence of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, which is a surprise of no one if you watch this channel. He was on the market, so that's a little bit of a fleece for us, as we probably just got our starting strong safety for the remainder of the rebuild. We're just going to make moves pretty much like the Dolphins should be, getting rid of veterans. So here we send Albert Wilson to the Philadelphia Eagles, who need wide receiver for Gennard Avery, who is better suited as an outside linebacker than Taco Charlton. Final trade, we're sending Rashad Jones, who's been one of the more underrated safeties since he's been in the league, in a 6th-round pick to reunite with Minkah Fitzpatrick there in Pittsburgh for Chuck Okorafor, who's basically the best depth tackle available right now in the NFL. That's not, Big V or someone that's over the age of 26, and a 3rd-round pick in 2021. Now let's get into the rebuild. So midway point of year 1, 1-6. I mean, yeah, expected. Pretty expected. I believe that, man, the defense is developing on the floors. I mean, that's what he was brought here, right? Belichick, defensive tree. He's already up to a 77. But looking at some contracts here, it makes a little bit of sense how some of these guys are so affordable. But first, we have Hack the punter, one of the better young punters in the NFL. So we'll give him a 5-year deal and not have to worry about it. Von Bell, who we kind of finessed. I guess, if the Saints knew they weren't going to re-sign him, that's why we were so, lucky to be able to trade for him. I like Nick Needham. I think he's fairly solid, and that's a reasonable deal. 5 years, have him locked up, try to grow and develop him. Everyone else, get off my team. You're trash. And at the end of year 1, pretty much as expected, not very good. 2-14 gives us the number 1 overall pick. What? There was no other crappy teams? So number 1 overall pick. Hey, that's awesome. And we got actually we got another 1st-round pick for the Tunsil trade. I mean, it is what it is. We got some assets that we can use. Rosen's actually developed, but I know that's not the rebuild you guys want to see. You guys don't want to see Josh Rosen as the quarterback. That's probably what I would have want to do, but I know that's not what you want to see. So it's good news that we have now a lot of draft value for Josh Rosen. He didn't play well in the sim. He developed nice because he's a young quarterback with a decent dev trait, but he did not play very well. 3,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 12 picks, 59% completion percentage. It's not good. Look at Duck Hodges, backup coming in, going 100%, 8 of 8, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Okay. Nyheim Hines coming in. He got a dev trade increase from star to superstar. That was the only dev trade increase I think I saw on either side of the ball. 758 yards, 5 touchdowns. Want to see better than that, but the O-line sucks. Devontae Parker, 62 catches, 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Preston Williams with 907. Might have a chance at Rookie of the Year. Gesicki was pretty decent, 700 yards, 3 touchdowns. Reynolds was a little bit disappointing. Still, at this point, with 260 overall players playing, didn't give up as many sacks as our 87 overall tackle Trent Brown did in the Raiders franchise. Just putting that out there. Defensively, McMillan all over the place. 129 tackles, 9 TFLs, a sack, 4 interceptions. We had 4.5 sacks from Taco Charlton, 3.5 Christian Wilkins. Why do I call him Wilkinson? 2.5 Gennard Avery. 4 picks, Raekwon McMillan, 3 for Xavier Howard. Needham had 2, Moreland had 2. So interceptions were fine. All in all, not bad. Maybe Josh Sweat get a little bit more pressure would have been nice. Yearly Awards MVP is Tannehill. Oh, that's a shot to the pills in a Dolphins rebuild. AFC Offensive Player, they went to Ryan Tannehill. Defense Player Darius Leonard with Raekwon McMillan coming in at number 2. We might see a dev trait from Raekwon. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Josh Jacobs. What? Preston Williams not even there? It must just be because he's like an undrafted UDFA or something like that. That makes no sense. There's no way any of these other guys had better. Yeah, whatever. 2 players here in Defensive Rookie of the Year, Needham and Jimmy Moore. No, it's not. He just straight up got snubbed. So you're telling me like Deontay Johnson? Let's see this for a sec. I find this hard to believe. $504 got over. Just to be clear, 504 got over 907. That's just that, you know. Any other awards? Doesn't even matter at this point. We're not gonna have any of these other ones, which we do not. So yeah, hopefully Raekwon gets a dev trait, and now let's go figure out who's gonna be our quarterback. We hold the number 1 overall pick. We know it's gonna be a quarterback, so we had basically Josh Rosen just play that year to develop and showcase him to flip him for a pick, and we're able to pair Josh Rosen and a future 5th rounder and send him to be the heir for Drew Brees in New Orleans, pick 17 in the 1st round. So that is, I think, what, 3 first-round picks we have for the Dolphins right now. Very good. So we have our choice here of quarterback, be it a Joseph Burrow, be it a Justin Herbert, but I think to keep it as realistic as possible, I think Tua's the pick. As long as he passes his medical, he declares for sure. So for me, Miami, plus it's Brian Flores. You come from that Patriot team. Patriots love Alabama players. This is going to be the selection at 1 overall. Tua Tagovailoa, 75 hidden dev trait, number 7 in true talent. I'm not overly worried about that. He's going to come in and be a baller with that 95 throw power. So as you look at our draft recap, you saw the Tua pick. And from that, we also selected Christian Fulton, the corner from LSU, 73 with a hidden dev trait. Really need to get another playmaker there in the secondary. We got Walker Little. I got to update my draft classes because he didn't declare, but if he did declare, I mean, I guess technically he still could come out. 75 with a hidden dev trait. He could be a franchise tackle, I think, has an upside. 2nd round, getting the man that protected it to Jedrick Wills, 72 normal dev trait. Probably plug and play as well at right tackle. Another Alabama player, Devonta Smith, wide receiver, 70 normal. Just getting another familiar face there with Tua. We got Brad Stewart out of Florida, Lorenzo Neal, Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU, 67, great value in the 6th round, and finish up with a couple depth linemen. But it is going to be the Tua Tagovailoa show. He is going to need to lead this Dolphins team to greatness. Year 2 for the Dolphins, year 1 of the Tua Tagovailoa era. Team is a 78 overall, so 8 points up from where we were last year. 2 is your starter. We got Naheem Hines, 84 superstar running back. Devontae Parker's up to an 84. We have Reynolds, 78. Preston Williams, 77. Gesicki's up to an 81. He's developing nicely. And everyone on this offensive line, I'm hoping, can be long-term starters. A core 4 is going from tackle to center. God, I love Madden. You can just do those kind of things in Madden. But Walker Little looks very, very good. And hopefully we can continue to see Dieter develop a little bit. We got Wilkinson in free agency, just depth guy. Well, actually has to start for us, unfortunately. We have the defense. I think Taco Charlton went up in dev trait. He's a 77 overall. He did go up in dev, so that's pretty cool. We got Christian Fulton will start at corner with Xavier Howard. Raekwon McMillan's now a superstar linebacker. Hell yeah, but a little disappointed not seeing a Sweat Baker or Avery get a dev trait yet, or even Christian Wilkins for that matter. So I want to see some developments here this year. Expectations aren't overly high unless we get some of that Madden 20 franchise cheese where you play a rookie quarterback and he carries your team. And for his 2nd dev trait upgrade of the year, just showing you the little preview, Preston Williams, absolute stud. Yes, Bengal was right. He's unbelievable in Madden. So coming out of actually a Week 10 victory, we're sitting at 4-4-1 on the year. Pretty goddamn impressive given the turnaround on this squad. We have a weekly award winner, and Xavier Howard had a pick 6. He actually just had a scenario trigger for an X Factor, but there's no chance that hell the Sim gets that for him. But look at the contracts here. All right, so Raekwon McMillan. We got so much salary cap. I don't think re-signing any player will ever be really that much of an issue. So Devontae Parker, Raekwon McMillan. I mean, that's not super expensive. $3 million a year for a guy that's probably going to be low 80s next season. Josh Reynolds. I feel like we might be able to do a little bit better here So we'll let him hit the open market. But other than that, there we go. Raekwon and Devontae staying in South Beach. So at the end of year 2, not quite the results I was expecting, but still, guess technically better than last year. We're going to have the 2nd overall pick. Yeah, I mean, we're up. We're in 81. We're in the 80s of overalls. I guess that's a small baby step here in year 2. Statistically, Tua is still pretty good for a rookie. 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, 13 picks, 70% completion percentage. That's unreal, and he's up to an 83 overall. I think that the sky's going to be a limit for him here today. Naheem Hines, fairly solid. Again, everything comes down to our average offensive line. Preston Williams, big year. 73 catches, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. As he's also up to a superstar ability. Not a bad year for Devontae Parker, 950 and 4. Gesicki has been actually pretty decent. I'm surprised he's yet to get a dev trade. He might with those numbers, though. Enough to go from normal to star. Defensively, Raekwon McMillan, 134 tackles. We got 7 sacks from Avery, who also had a breakout scenario from normal to star. Interceptions are down just a little bit. Yearly awards, MVPs went to Mitchell Trubisky, and then you see Joe Burrow doing the damn thing for the Chargers. That was our decision, Tua or Joe Burrow. Offensive player went to Patrick Mahomes, so Joe Burrow. And Eason's even ahead of us. No. Raekwon McMillan, your defensive player of the year, which is cool. Offensive rookie went to Joe Burrow. Oh my God, all the quarterbacks are ahead of Tua, but Tua had the worst scenario of all of them, I guess. Defensive rookie went to Dylan Moses. Fulton coming in at number 2. We're not going to have any of these award winners, so let's just turn and burn it, get into the offseason, and get to year 3 as fast as possible. Now, as we hop into free agency for year 3, I'm going to get maybe one of those white whales. Is that what they call them? A guy that's eluded us on this channel. That is Keanu Neal. If you watch the Raiders franchise, you know what this is about, but there's no bids on him. We could sign him, move on Bell to free safety. Actually, he's probably better suited, so why not? Boys, we had an outstanding draft here in 2021. First round at pick 2, we get Penei Sewell, who in my opinion is the best tackle prospect I've ever seen. Ever. Point blank period. I mean, I wasn't old enough to see like when John Ogden and those guys were coming out, but Penei Sewell for Oregon is ridiculous. 77 with a hidden dev trait, 97 strength, franchise left tackle. You pair that with Walker Little, who's we will slide him to right tackle. He's like 81. Second year. I mean, we are building up a great foundation to protect Tua Tagovailoa. Second round, we got Terrace Marshall, 72, hidden dev out of LSU. We need that third wide receiver. He can be that guy along with Preston Williams and Devontae Parker. We got Juice Scruggs in third round, 70, also with a hidden dev trait out of Penn State. Third round, we got Mac McCain, 69, hidden dev trait. And then our final pick, Brennan Eagles, wide receiver of Texas, 68 overall. Great value. Only a normal dev, but still a really nice pick. But that's an outstanding draft from top to bottom. You're not going to see a better draft with my custom draft classes than that right there. So we start year 3. Our team looking pretty damn good at this point. 83 overall with an 85 defense being the highlight. Big changes. So on the front, we got Penei Sewell and Juice Scruggs. Both will be starting as rookies. Jedrick Wills, who was our right tackle, is going to slide into right guard. On the offense, Preston Williams is 86 superstar. He takes over as wide receiver 1 over Devontae Parker. Terrace Marshall will probably be our slot, so hopefully he can get a dev trait upgrade at some point. He can only really go up 1. And then on the defense, there's no real changes outside of a big addition at strong safety in Keanu Neal, superstar X Factor, and Raekwon McMillan. Hopefully Avery continues to develop there. He's looking pretty nice. Christian Fulton as well. So from top to bottom, I think this team is very, very well-rounded, and it's young. We have like everyone here, outside of probably Devontae Parker on offense, and then you flip on defense. I mean, Xavier Howard maybe. These are the only guys that might face any form of regression for the remainder of this rebuild. So we are in a very, very good spot here in year 3. Expectations, maybe playoffs. I won't be destroyed though if we don't. Week 8 coming out of our bye week, 3-4, which is not bad. Tied for first in the East. We get a breakout player actually. Josh Sweat just last week took a breakout player. Now we got Taco Charlton, who can go from star to superstar with 75 rushing yards. That's a legit possibility here against the Jets, but we got to focus here on our contracts. Again, we haven't really been signing anyone. We got Keanu Neal. That's about it in free agency, so we should be able to retain everyone. So we'll start with Naheem Hines. Mike Gesicki's really developed into a nice tight end for us. 87 overall. Preston Williams, baller boy. This guy is an absolute monster. And we got him locked up. Avery as well. We want to get him 4-year deal. So there's no ridiculous contracts here. There's definitely some that are a lot more reasonable than others, but Avery will come back to negotiate with. Josh Sweat, who just got himself a brand new dev trait. Like all these big guys, for the most part, we're keeping under like 5 mil cap hits, which is very, very good. Just cap management in general. So yeah, for Taco Charlton, especially if you can hit that dev trait and Gennard Avery, we should be able to hit these guys and retain them and still have money to splurge when that big free agent becomes available at a position of need. So, sometimes I do hop in and play games when we have like dev trait scenarios popped up. One popped up for Terrace Marshall. So we broke the touchdown record with Tua Tagovailoa, 470 yards, 8 touchdowns. And look at the score of this game. We almost lost it. It was ridiculous. Madden 20. But as I said, I did hop into this game to get a dev trait increase. So Marshall, who had a star, has now been bumped up to a superstar, which is unreal as a rookie. And this season, just because it's Christmas, double dipping in the dev trait upgrades. We got another one for Preston Williams the next week. And, to make him go up to Superstar X Factor, man a bit. So now, Preston Williams, Superstar X Factor. And at the end of year 3, better, but still disappointing, knowing that 8-8 would have won the division. And we're sitting here at 7-9. Look at it, everything's 88s across the board. So we've built this up really, really quickly into a very good squad. Penai Sewell is a superstar lineman. Not shocked. We have Preston Williams, who's Superstar X Factor. He got Wrecking Ball. I'll take at this point anything that's not like first one free or anything like that. Terrace Marshall's a superstar. Devontae Parker's still doing his damn thing. Defensively, I don't think any new dev traits. Outside Josh Sweat, who went from normal to star, which is pretty cool. But I don't know. Our defense is not very good. I'd imagine, 14th offense. I would be shocked if we don't have the worst defense in the league. 26, yeah, it's right there. We seem like every other week it was 40 points we're giving up. But 2 was unreal. 4,100 yards, 35 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. The run game's just not really been there. Even though Naheem Hines, almost a 90 overall, he's just not playing well. I guess maybe it could be the O-line's work in progress. Preston Williams and Terrace Marshall both had huge seasons. Devontae Parker, respectable. Gesicki, really nice for a tight end. Defensively, McMillan made a whole bunch of tackles. 7.5 sacks, Christian Wilkins. Couple picks here and there. It's just not good enough. Yearly awards MVP, Justin Fields. Just, my God. The Bears just crapping out MVPs here. Doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Tua coming in at number 10. AFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Baker Mayfield. Tua at number 5. Defensive Player of the Year went to Miles Jack. Raekwon McMillan at 9. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Trevor Lawrence. With Terrace Marshall coming in at 3. We had no one here for defense. And for individual awards, absolutely nothing. So we're still sitting here empty-handed. Let's get into year 4. Looking at the free agency, this is kind of weird. Like, you rarely see Lamar Jackson as an available free agent. And my first big rebuild was Lamar Jackson going to the Miami Dolphins. That was like our first realistic rebuild. Feels very eerie. But obviously with Tua, we don't need a quarterback. I just thought it would be worth noting. But we are going to try to get much better on the offensive line. James Daniels, 91 overall guard. Really, the offensive line is where I think we need to get a little bit better on the offense. And he would be a huge get for the squad. So we have our first real Madden generated class of the rebuild as we get ready for year 4. And one of my best I've ever had. If this was Draft Wars, shout out to Paracrow, this would have been like one of the most lopsided victories of all time. We'll start our way at the bottom and work our way up. We had Leonard Beckett. I just picked best looking fullback available. We kind of have a fullback in our offense, and he's a 72 hidden dev trade fullback. Hell yeah. We got a 60. We had so many picks here. These are just blind picks in the win. 60 safety, 67 high bench press lineman. We got, bamboozled here on a high bench press guard. But from on out, Darryl White, D tackle in the 4th round. Hidden dev, 67 out of Oklahoma. 4th round, we got a 70 overall guard. Hidden dev from Toledo, Anthony Payton. 3rd round, 75 overall defensive end, Brian Melvin. Hidden dev trait, 6'4", 265. Probably going to be an outside linebacker in this scheme. 2nd round, this actually was a bad pick. I was like, who do I get between these two? Luckily enough, I was able to get both Herbert and Melvin, both in the state of Florida, keeping them there. Herbert was like easily our worst pick. But our first pick, Montra Combs from Temple Tough 77 with a hidden dev trade. He's probably going to be able to start right away as a rookie. So insane draft class, A+ draft class here as we get ready for year 4, searching for our first playoff appearance. And year 4 of the Dolphins rebuild, and this team is stacked. 2 superstar X Factors at wide receiver. Preston Williams, Terrence Marshall. We got Hines as a star, Tua, star, Sewell, star. This is a really good team from top to bottom. And you look at the defense. In terms of depth traits, Avery's gone up to superstar. Wilkins has gone up to star. I think that's actually about it when it comes to the upgrades. But when you add in, we got a unreal draft class, man. Absolutely unreal draft class. You had a 78 corner. You had a 76 defensive end who I might, if I had to put money, I think he's going to be at least a superstar. I could be wrong. Usually I am wrong. But this generally is a very, very good roster. Let's get into year 4. Come on, make the playoffs. That is my minimum goal. Okay, I don't know how this happened. We were like 5-1 at midway, and we finished. What were we? I think we, for my schedule, when I was looking at this, I think we straight up won no games. I stopped at week 8, so we're actually right there after the bye. We went 1. Wow. That's a painful one. Tua is not bad. 3,900 yards, 30 touchdowns. Over a first 1,000-yard season for a running back. Devontae Parker had a nice year. Defensively, McMillan had a lot of tackles, 8.5 sacks. Avery, no interception. This is just a terrible year to be having. Like, this is when your team needs to be peaking. And we're year 4 going in year 5, and we're getting worse. Come on, we have one final year. Sort your shit out, Flores. And for our final free agency, we got 2 targets here. First one, we got Greedy Williams, who'll be a welcome addition to the secondary room. And then Miles Sanders. Either, I don't think he's going to be our lead back by any means because Nyheim Hines has the higher overall. But at least we have 2 competent running backs on the roster. And I don't know, that can be the missing piece. This is really the only thing I'm going to show you from the draft because, we don't need any of these players. And we just signed Miles Sanders in free agency. But this guy was chilling here. We got the number 1 player, pick 9. Jermichael House, 79 overall running back from Buffalo. Hidden Dev. 94 speed, 94 acceleration. This guy's ridiculous. This guy's absolutely ridiculous as a running back. Best running back prospect I've seen in Madden 20. All right, so we're here, year 5, week 17, both 8-7 with the New England Patriots. We win, go 9-7, get our first AFC South title, which is huge in a very competitive AFC South. Probably the worst team to make the playoffs, though, that's so bad. At least an 8-7-1, Carl. Everyone's shitting on them instead of us, but that's not good. But it's at least, hey, we got our first AFC South title. We're going to have to run the gauntlet. A lot of things need to happen for this to turn into a successful rebuild, especially we're dropping on Christmas. You want to see something good. Tua was pretty damn good, though. 3,100 yards, 36 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. We actually made Jermichael House our starter because he came out as a superstar X Factor. One of the best draft picks we've ever had. I figured let's make him our starter. Himes will go back as more of the complimentary option, which is what he was in Indy. 420, nice. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we had 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Devontae Parker, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Preston Williams, almost 809 for Gesicki, 607 for Marshall. So everyone was producing pretty well. McMillan leading the team in tackles. Sacks are disappointing. Interceptions, boom. Greedy Williams, our big free agency signing, coming up huge. With those 5 picks, yearly awards MVP went to Lamar Jackson, who is now a member of the New England Patriots. The Bills 1-2. Show some respect on our division. Okay. And Tua comes in at number 10. That is pretty damn crazy. Offensive player of the year went to Josh Allen. Tua coming in at 3. Defensive player of the year went to Jermaine Pratt. We had no one. Offensive rookie of the year, Jermichael House. Nothing really. 2 is 6 for quarterbacks. For running backs, not much. For wide receivers, Devontae Parker at 3. Best offensive lineman, Sewell at 6. We have D lineman went to Myles Garrett. We have nobody. Linebacker. Wow, no respect on Raekwon. Usually gets it. Greedy Williams is your DB of the year, so we do make the Super Bowl. He will go up in a dev trait. I really don't want to run the gauntlet here. Do I? Dare I? Shalt I? Let's do it. Dude, this game is ridiculous. Look at this score right now. 28-28. We just beat Earl Thomas deep with our X Factor. Preston Williams with this game. This is a sim. Right now, every time I score a touchdown, the sim comes right back. And, wow. Okay. Ooh. I literally think this might be like our 8th fucking touchdown of the game. This is insane. All rookie, baby. All right, we should be able to sit this one out, right? Right? Come on. There we go. What is this sim? What? Yeah, I'm going to come and throw a bomb here. Just cuz, out of spite. With the X Factor, Terrence Marshall. Give me time O-line. He should get... Oh, that's PI. There we go. We'll take the PI. This is game. What is this sim?
Automatic first down.
Keep playing hard.
Like, are you meaning to tell me that if I wasn't putting up 63 points, this would have been my 5th-year rebuild where I lose in the wild card to a team that puts up 55? There's some great run blocking there on the outside. Miles Sanders gets it. Is that 70? We straight up put 70 points up and almost lost in sim round 1. This is gonna be fun. Gonna get some final stats here though. We need to see these final video game numbers. I think we got 8 touchdowns with Tua. $700 yards, 9 touchdowns with Tua, and we barely won. Okay, that first game was so ridiculous that they're not getting my help anymore. If the sim is this decide that we're not winning the Super Bowl with Miami, that they're gonna drop 55 points in the wild card round, I'm not gonna be bothered with it. I'm not gonna get hung up. It's Christmas, okay? It's Christmas. So 14-10 here. We're doing pretty well here. Get a nice little lead. Of course, give it the instant touchdown, the ensuing drive. We get a little go ahead into halftime. It's tied up 24 apiece actually at halftime. I feel like I'm a little too under influence right now to give you that fast play-by-play commentary. We'll try our best to do it here. So 27-34, 34-24, 34-27 in the fourth quarter. Oh, we are getting stumped. We are not going to make it past this. We're going to win one playoff game with a 90-plus overall team because it's Madden. Merry Christmas, everybody. This game is awful. If you gave anybody this game as a Christmas gift and they are a sim franchise player, it's worse than giving them a lump of coal. Hope none of you guys got a lump of coal. Hope everyone having a great Christmas. Well, it was the first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying this game really just makes me want to say, bah humbug.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit when you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. I'm way too clever. Look at the kid, Mr. Consistent, I'm doing